Project Red Zuma Part 4A. There's a 4A and a 4B, of course. Now we're going to go into the project and do a project status update about how to do the project. It's rather interesting. Today is actually July 9th, and the status date will be July 8th in this case. So it's interesting. We're almost the exact same date. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to be charged with preparing a status for top management, and we're going to use table 2A2 dot to update the status. Then we're going to come back and answer these questions, right? So what we're going to do is we're introduce the actual start and actual finish and the percentages complete for those things that only have an actual start. There's this one item here. Then we're going to try to answer these questions that are listed right here. So first I'm going to move this over to the side. Before we move forward, first we're going to do is our baseline. So on the toolbar, we have set baseline right here. And we click on this and we set baseline for the entire project. This will just be called baseline 1. And if we were to set multiple baselines by making changes, it would just continually set those. Now, remember when you're working in Microsoft Project, we created our project in the Gantt view. As a matter of fact, I've changed this a little bit on view. We did it in part A, or 2A actually, so that our table was in the schedule. But if we go back to entry, this is the table we used when we created this project. And so that's where the Gantt view is used. Now we've saved the baseline, and we'll even save this file. Now we're going to make changes. We're going to update based on that table A2.8. So we're going to go to the tracking Gantt. And the tracking Gantt, as you can see, and what we looked at in the chat around monitoring our project, the red and the blue here indicate the project baseline itself. These little gray bars underneath, this is going to represent our progress. So now what we want to do is change the table here. So in the tracking Gantt from our view bar, tracking. So we can say, so for marketing, as an example, marketing status was Friday. It was split on 1/9/15, and the actual finish was 2/12/15, and percent complete. Anytime we put an actual start and an actual finish, it's going to complete at 100%. So product design, it has an actual start date of 2/13, and we are actually in the calendar year 2015. I don't have to put the 15 every time. It's on April 1st, according to the table. It's 100% complete. And one we can see here right away, back to the Gantt chart just for a second. We're starting on time, but now as we're looking at the project or the Gantt chart, we get to see our progress is still in here. We get to see the 100% and so on and so forth. So this baseline, actually the gray bar now, the gray bar is representing our baseline, and the bars are representing the actual project status. We see those fill out, anything that's 100%. So the manufacturing study, we'll put 2/13 as a start, and 3/6 as finish. Product design selection, 4/2, and 4/17. The design and the manufacturing process, we have no data. They did not start. Detailed product design is 4/20, and ends on, it did complete at 6/24. It's 100% complete. And we started to build prototypes on June the 10th. And we currently at 39%, and we can put 39, hit enter, and it says 9 days on the 9 days for actual remaining. It says 14, but ours is a slightly different. It says 5.2, but that's because our we didn't start when we were supposed to. But interestingly enough, as we look at the Gantt chart now, we can see all of these that are 100%, they're solid. Those that are 0% are still completely white throughout. They don't have the full color. But this one, the build prototype, it's at 39%. So we can see it has a solid bar up to about 39% of it, and we can also see this red bar going across here, and maybe what's causing the slight delta here. If we go back to the project status date, we can make it yesterday, and tells us where we're at. So that's perfectly fine there. That's all the changes we're supposed to make. So I'm just going to save this as Red Zuma 4A, and then I'm going to bring this back over, and we're going to have questions here, and I'll just read these off and see if we can determine these. Open up a Word document that we can say. I'm going to pause just a second while I do that. Okay, started that Word document, and I also just want to show you that what's required for project Part A here. It says to include the tracking Gantt chart as well as the earned value table in the So I went and took a screenshot of the tracking Gantt chart, and it's listed as such. And I will include that. So, how is the project progressing in terms of costs? Well, very easily determine that. We go back to our budget here. And we can see any variances, right, in here. So the total costs here for detailed product design was supposed to be $90,000. It's over. So we'll see a variance of $37,000, and that'd be a great thing to answer that question. So I'll put the picture of it in that Microsoft Word document. You don't have to include it, but I want you to have that data. I have to include that, but I want you to have that so you can look at it yourself. What activities have gone well and haven't gone well? Well, aside from looking at that budget, another way that we can do this, and we do have to include this picture. So what we do here in our tracking Gantt, we go back to View and change our table to the table, line variance, actual remaining, and we can see in here, having to go out to that particular budget file, we can see this here, but there's also one more table. We want to include is the earned value table. So when we go to tables and see the ones, these are the ones that are used most often. We want to go to more tables and just go down here to value. But there's 3 different ones, right? So we can do the earned value, and we can see what's on here. It does include schedule variance. It includes our cost variance, at completion, the variance at completion, all of these various things that we want. So estimated at completion and budgeted at completion, you can see that's where the delta variance at completion rather comes into play there. We're not through the project, so this project could come back in alignment. So let's see, what activities have gone well, which ones have not gone well. Again, we can see that on the board, and we can also see it in here. I'm going to take a picture of this one because I don't see everything that I want to see in here. So the next question is, how much of the project has been completed? So we need the project completed for budget. And so how much project, we will just go and look at the tables again. And this time, look at the schedule indicators. That's the ones that we want to see here. And a couple looks through on can determine how this next question says how much of the project has been accomplished to date, and they're looking for this particular performance indicator at budget. It's more of a term, but mostly Microsoft Project doesn't include that. But we get this schedule performance indicator, which is already in this particular table. So I'm going to take a snapshot of this table, and we can use this for the assignment. This will be the earned value table. And I'm going to put a note in here that this one's for schedule. To include schedule and the cost earned value table, but I will put them both in there. And again, I'll try to cover that in an email so everyone understands that. If we look at this, the question is, has the project's been completed to date? And the answer to that is, or at least for now, the schedule performance, 74% of what should have been completed. You can see we're falling further behind. We've only completed 74% of what we were supposed to complete at this point. And then the next question is, what is the forecasted cost completion? And we do have that. We can go to our earned value table for cost indicators, and the EAC right here, estimated at completion, at $880,521. So I'll take a screenshot of that table. Put that in here too. So I'm going to call this one earned value table costs. So the Microsoft Word document as well, you'll need those images, or one of those two images, along with the Gantt chart, which is at the top. So the completion date, well, we can go back to our schedule, or we could go back to the tracking at this point, actually, but I take that back. We should go to schedule indicators. Here we'll just add a few columns. Add the columns. We will just, I apologize, we will use the schedule chart here, because you have the for Celebrate. We know, we can see now we've moved out to February 4th is now the planned schedule. So I will also drop that in here. We just need that part of it. Give me one, put that into the Word document. And how is the project doing in terms of priorities? So go back to part 1 and view the priorities there, which is we would keep this project finished by January 17th. We need to be putting the project back on schedule. So just one, I would say that this project is from February 17th. Actually, the event January 22nd. So we're all well behind schedule now. So we're not going to meet our primary goal for Project Red Zuma Part 4A. So the last one will be Part 4B, and we'll see how we do.